Imagine turning on your TV and feeling like you have just stepped into the future. Not because you bought some crazy new TV, but because a tiny black box in your entertainment center suddenly became the smartest thing in your home. That is the promise of the rumored Apple TV arriving in 2025. And today, we are diving deep into what this quiet little box could mean for your living room, your streaming routine, your gaming setup, and even your smart home. Before we go further, let me be very clear. If you think the Apple TV is just another streaming stick, you might want to pause that thought. Because the leaks around this thing are pointing to a shift that could make the Apple TV the center of your home entertainment world in a way it has never been before. The upgrades are bigger, the vision is sharper, and the experience could feel so smooth and instant that you might forget you're using a streaming box at all. Now here is the catch. Apple has not confirmed this yet. But the leaks are coming from analysts and supply chain sources who have been right many times before. And if what they're saying lines up with reality, the 2025 Apple TV might not just be a nice upgrade. It might be the one that actually earns a spot in every premium home setup. So grab a snack, settle in, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly whether you should upgrade, wait, or forget the Apple TV entirely. And yes, we will talk price, release timing, who should buy now, and who should wait. And just a hint here, if you watch a lot of YouTube or own a 120Hz TV, pay close attention because this next model might feel like it was built specifically for you. Let's start with raw power, because the first thing people always ask is this: how much faster is it? And does that even matter for a streaming box? Short answer, it matters a lot more than most people think. The current Apple TV is already fast. But Apple is expected to move to a newer A-series chip in 2025. Think A16 or A17 Pro, the kind of chip that once powered flagship iPhones. On paper, that might sound like overkill for Netflix or Hulu. But here is why it matters. With a more powerful chip, everything becomes instant. You click an app and it just launches. You scrub through a 4K movie and the picture jumps exactly where you want it without lag. You switch profiles, and there is no loading wheel. Apple Arcade games feel smoother and more immersive than ever before. No noisy fans, no bulky box, just speed and silence. If you have never used an Apple TV, this is what people love about it. It behaves like a premium device. It does not stutter. It does not get bogged down. And this next-gen chip makes that experience even tighter. Now let us talk about the upgrade hardly anyone mentions, but everyone will feel. And honestly, this one is huge. The rumor points to full HDMI 2.1 capabilities. Translation: potential support for 4K at 120Hz, variable refresh rate, and lower latency. If you have a 120Hz TV, your sports, your YouTube, and your gaming could look shockingly smooth. Imagine watching fast-paced NBA highlights or Formula One footage and everything looks buttery clean. Imagine flipping through menus and animations feeling so fluid they almost disappear. This is not about numbers or specs on a page. This is about your eyes getting used to something that feels natural, like motion is happening in real time instead of being chopped into frames. And sure, we do not know if Apple will turn on 4K 120 support at launch, but the building blocks are lining up. And that is exciting. Now let's get into the feature that could quietly change everyday streaming for millions of people. AV1 hardware decoding. I know, the name sounds boring, but stay with me. If Apple adds a chip that handles AV1 natively, your YouTube experience goes from good to beautiful. Cleaner picture at the same internet speed. Better quality at 4K. Less compression. Via blue patches in fast motion. And yes, Netflix and more services are starting to adopt AV1 too. Think of it like unlocking hidden sharpness you already pay for, but are not seeing. If you ever noticed YouTube looks sharper on your phone than your TV, this is the fix. And honestly, for a lot of users, this alone makes the upgrade worth waiting for. Now, wireless performance. And this one might surprise you. Most people do not think about their Wi-Fi when it comes to TV streaming. But the next Apple TV could ship with Wi-Fi 6, E, or E. Wi-Fi 6. That means faster and more stable streaming, especially in homes where multiple people are gaming, working, and watching all at once. If your Apple TV is across the house from your router, or you stream high bitrate 4K movies, this upgrade matters in a very real, everyday way. No buffering, no drops, no lag when family members start hopping online. And for people who love accessories, Apple is rumored to be improving Bluetooth and also adding ultra-wideband, which can mean one thing everyone has been waiting for. Find My Remote. Yes, possibly finally, you can make the remote beep when it is lost in the couch cushions. Apple users everywhere will celebrate that one, myself included. Speaking of audio and home entertainment, this is where Apple already shines. Dolby Vision, Dolby Atmos, clean output, and extremely good sync precision. With the new model, leaks suggest improved ERC reliability, smarter dialogue enhancement, and overall better home theater integration. If you have ever struggled with lip sync between your soundbar and TV, this upgrade might be the quiet hero of the year. Now gaming. Apple is not trying to kill the PlayStation or Xbox. But with this next model, they are building something that starts to make genuine sense as a living room gaming device. Apple Arcade gets more headroom. Cloud gaming apps are expanding across Apple platforms. And with potential 120 Hz and lower latency, this might be the first time gaming on Apple TV feels like a real option. Casual and mid-core gaming suddenly becomes a real category on Apple TV. Picture this. You pick up a controller, pair it in seconds, launch a game, and it just works. Smooth, silent, fast. No fans blowing. No clunky boot screen. It just feels modern. And now the smart home part. This is where Apple is playing a long game. The next Apple TV will almost certainly deepen its role as a home hub. Thread and Matter are expected across the lineup. Faster automation, better device response, cleaner integrations. Everything from smart lights to sensors to door locks gets more instant. The future Apple sees is not noisy or flashy. It is subtle and feels like magic. You ask something, it happens. No thinking, no lag, just fluid control. Pair this with a refreshed HomePod Mini rumored for 2025, and suddenly talking to your home feels natural instead of robotic. Intercom, broadcast, cameras on TV with almost no delay. It becomes the quiet convenience you cannot live without once you get used to it. Siri also gets smarter with more on-device processing. That means faster responses, better privacy, and personalized profiles that recognize who is speaking. Imagine sitting down, saying one sentence, and your TV knows it is you. Your apps, your shows, your playlist. It feels like having a system designed specifically for your living room and your life. Now, let us talk design. The box probably stays small, silent, and simple. The remote could finally get a slight redesign and ultra-wideband so you can find it. Maybe tiny ergonomic tweaks so it feels easier in the dark. Nothing dramatic. But with devices you touch every day, small improvements often land the biggest punch. And now something people have been asking for. FaceTime camera. Not happening in the box. But continuity camera with your iPhone is likely to get even better. Cleaner framing, better background effects, more stable wireless connection. This is one of those feature sets where Apple is already ahead and will only polish it more. Now the curveball. Price. People expect Apple to go higher every year. But the last Apple TV actually dropped in price. And there's a real chance the base model gets even more affordable. Think around $99 for Wi-Fi only, and a slightly higher tier for Ethernet and smart home extras. That is dangerous territory for Roku and Amazon, and a huge win for consumers. If Apple makes this move, they will not just be competing. They will be leading the premium streaming space while offering competitive entry pricing. Release timing. Most likely second half of 2025. Apple tends to quietly drop Apple TV models with little fanfare. So one day it might just appear. New product page, new specs, and boom. Available. So the big question, should you buy an Apple TV now or wait? Here is the honest breakdown. If your TV is 60 Hz and you just want a fast box today, the current model is great. If you have a 2021 or 2022 Apple TV and you are happy, no rush. But if you watch a ton of YouTube, have or plan to get a 120 Hz TV or you care about smart home performance, the 2025 model might be the one to wait for. If you're upgrading from the Apple TV HD or first-gen 4K, the jump will feel huge. Faster app switching, better picture, smoother control, improved wireless, smarter home features, and yes, possibly a remote you can finally find without tearing apart your couch. Now here's what to watch for as rumors evolve. Mentions of AV1 support, 120Hz video, Thread and Matter across all models, and Wi-Fi 6E or Wi-Fi 7 on the spec sheet. If Apple checks those boxes, this will be the biggest meaningful Apple TV upgrade in years. Imagine your next movie night. You hit play. The interface responds instantly. Your team's highlights look fluid and lifelike. YouTube loads crisp 4K without weird blur. Your lights dim exactly when you want them to. And if your remote disappears, your phone finds it in seconds. This is not about hype. This is about refinement. A small box making a big impact every single night. So now I want to hear from you. Which rumored feature hits you the hardest? The 120Hz support? AV1 streaming? Faster smart home performance? Or the ability to finally find your remote? Drop in the comments. And if you do plan to buy, tell me if you're going base model or stepping up for Ethernet and smart home support. Before you go, one last thought. The Apple TV is not flashy. It does not scream for attention. It just works. And in a world full of noisy tech, sometimes the quietest upgrade ends up being the most meaningful one. Thanks for spending time here. Stick around for more deep dives into the tech shaping your future. And if you want unfiltered advice on whether to buy or wait, this channel always tells you the truth. See you in the next one.